Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Streech here. I'm sitting with my friends Angie Burke and Dave Johnston. You will remember me and them from an interview that was done a little over a year ago. We're sitting here up at the Nordhavn Rendezvous in Poulsbo, Washington, and one thing led to another through conversation. We thought, hey, a year has gone by. Let's do a follow-up on that last interview. There were a lot of people that enjoyed it, and it's been only a year, but it's been quite a year of cruising for Angie and Dave, and I love these two. They represent all that is good about the Nordhavn life. And we started off with hugs, of course, and my first question was, how you doing? I was, hoping they were doing good, but it has been a year, and whoa, they're doing better than they were before. This is quite a happy story that we have here. So I'm going to start off with some questions here. Angie, I'm going to start with you. It's been a year. You were beginners a year ago, heading off into a grand adventure. Talk to us. Tell us how it feels, what you've done, and what your plans are going forward.
Oh, well, it's great that you're here, and we love sitting down and talking with you every chance we get. So, gosh, when we met last year, we had just completed the Baja Bash, and we sat down in Dana Point. When we left Dana Point, we continued cruising up the west coast of the U.S., so California, Oregon, Washington, and we rounded Cape Flattery and came into the Pacific Northwest area, which was great. We were welcomed by a pod of orcas, so that was a pretty good welcoming party.
Yeah.
And we made our way to Anacortes, where we had planned to do some routine boat maintenance and some special projects. And that really took us through the end of May. And then June 1st, we headed north to Alaska. And that was our summer cruising plans. We had friends and family join us. We went all the way up to Skagway and Sitka and Juneau. And it was absolutely stunning. There were bears, and we were anchored next to icebergs. We had glacier ice cocktails one night. And it was just, we hiked, and Alaska is everything that cruisers talk about.
It is beautiful,
it's spectacular.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So we made our way slowly back down to the Pacific Northwest. And so on advice from our friends, we didn't want to skip cruising and exploring the British Columbia coast. So we positioned ourselves to be up here this summer, and we're going to explore Vancouver Island. And the timings worked out great, because here we are in Poulsbo for the rendezvous.
And I mean, you arrive here as superstars in a way, because you've got time now. I mean, you must have made a lot of friends along the way in the community. And
absolutely, I think that's one of the things we've enjoyed the most. Is all the way up to Alaska and back, we would come across Nordhavns and people on the dock, and those have become friends where they'd be like, hey, we saw you were in the area, let's stop by, bring your dinghy up, let's go get drinks. So that's been really incredible.
Yeah, and we planned a buddy boat with a few of them that we met in Alaska. They were also going to explore more of BC and Vancouver Island, so we're going to take advantage of that this summer.
Well, Angie and Dave, you're arriving here now with thousands of miles under your keel and experience, and a group of friends. And I think back to when you bought this boat, and I remember from knowing you from the previous video that you were outsiders. Your first ride on a Nordhavn is when you bought it, and it brought to mind something that really frustrates me, or that we've never found a way to conquer, is that there is this amazing Nordhavn community, which we're experiencing this weekend with 60 boats and nearly 200 people. It's a love fest. And there's the Nordhavn Owners Group with hundreds of people. There's the Nordhavn Dreamers group. And then there's 600 and some boats that are out there cruising around. But you kind of have to be a Nordhavn owner to experience it. And so when we're selling boats, we're selling the features of the boat and doing what we do when we sell boats, and we say, hey, and you're going to love it when you get on the inside. But it's all words, and to this day we haven't found a good solution for it. So you made it through, you bought your boat, and how was that from your perspective? How did that experience affect you?
Well, we'll give you a very real example. It's happening right now. We have good friends who have decided they also want to do this type of thing. they haven't been on a Nordhavn before, so we invited them to come cruising with us for the week and come to the rendezvous, meet the owners, walk around, see the boats. Something Dave and I wish we had had. I mean, we were dreamers, and we had even talked about crewing on a Nordhavn just to get on one and to start to experience that, right, and get that sense of community. So Mike and Susie are walking our dog right now, but the fact that they're making friends,
Yes.
they've been on probably more of the Nordhavns here than we have,
Yeah.
which is great. And they've also started showing this boat for us, right? So people are walking up and down the docks, and they've just invited them in, which is great. They already feel embraced. They're getting, in the engine rooms, they're getting up in the salons, they're talking, how do you access this or provision this in the galley, which are all real world questions when you are serious about moving onto a boat. So we feel like we're paying it forward by giving that opportunity for people to come experience this with us. It's great. They're dear friends and they're easy to cruise with, and I think they're loving it.
You did some, no doubt, did oil changes and routine things and so forth, but I understand that one of your projects involved a sledgehammer.
Yeah, we had quite a few projects. So of course the routine maintenance. We made it up to Anacortes and focused on the bottom and some of the stuff that you do on an annual or every other year basis. But we also had some big projects that were more preventive and long term. So we're trying to ready the boat to continue around the world. And we did things like dropping the stabilizers and working on the seals and all the gear oils. We did the same with the thrusters. We did a big conversion for our house bank from AGM batteries to lithium batteries.
Oh, you've gone lithium.
We've gone to lithium.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was a big project. We did some things in the galley. We put new carpets throughout the boat. We also replaced our galvanized anchor chain with a stainless steel chain. And the big friend and family joke is that Angie doesn't wear a ring, but she does have a stainless steel anchor chain.
It's my jewelry. Boat jewelry.
That's a good one. I got to remember that.
Yeah.
Which lithium batteries did you put in?
We went with Lithionics.
Yeah, okay.
And then all Victron equipment.
Yeah, okay.
It's been a game changer.
Yeah. So you easily have a quiet boat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It was a big expense, but well worth it.
Yeah.
We're very
So,
happy
ladies
with
and
that.
gentlemen, when I say quiet boat, it's the quest to be able to go through the night and into the morning without running your generator. And so the capacity of the lithium batteries allows that. Air conditioning puts a pretty good load on, but you probably haven't been running air conditioning
No.
much.
But the lithium combined with our solar has really helped us just cruise quietly.
So batteries, that one makes perfect sense. Tell me about your countertops. That was pretty.
Angie, you want to take that? Yeah.
Well, Dave and I have a very good relationship. I'd be like, wow, I'd really like to have this. I know it's probably not possible.
It started with a different sink.
Right. I said I'd like to have a bigger sink. We had a double basin sink. I wanted a single basin workstation sink.
I like a big single sink.
In order to take the double basin out, we were going to have to trim a piece of the granite off, which Dave then said, if we're going to do that, maybe we should think about different countertops in our kitchen and bar top area. And because we were in Vancouver at the time, we were at a marina for a month, which is unusual for transient liveaboards. We actually had the time and luxury of working with a small company and having them on site and having a couple weeks where they could measure, go do the product, and then bring it back. So that's what we did. We treated ourselves to new countertops, and we loved them.
They are beautiful, absolutely
Thanks.
beautiful. So yeah, good job on that.
Thank you.
Last time we talked about money, which thank you, you were both very candid and forthcoming with that. But part of it was based on your age, where you have given up what could be prime earning years. I think the folks will remember that, and I don't even have to ask. I think you're happy with that choice.
Yeah.
You now have real life experience with what this costs to do this. Are you in a continual state of sticker shock, or are you on track? Are you happy? Or
Yeah, it's a great question, because it was a big consideration for us, but there's not always a lot of information out there to help you determine how you should budget this, how you should plan. And so the rule of thumb is like 10% of the value of the boat, and we've actually found that it can be considerably less. But a question that we often get is, well, how much fuel do you go through, and what's the expense of that? Thinking that that's a big line item. But in reality, I want to help you with some of the numbers that we have. And so Good Hook holds around 3,300 gallons of fuel. And we cruise on average over the last 2 years, 5,000 nautical miles per year. And our average fuel bill has been about $17,000 per year. And you contrast that with insurance, something that you often might overlook. But our insurance is annually about $26,000 per year. So the line items you think might be considerable, or you may forget about, are often different. But we find that you can come in under that 10% figure. And we tend to do a lot of the normal maintenance by ourselves. So any of the filter changes, oil, gear oils, etc., we do as much as we can. And then we call in the pros when it's a job that we just can't tackle or we don't have the right tools for. So our first year cruising, we were at about 131,000 that first year. We spent a majority of the time at anchor, and we still put a lot of miles under the keel. Our second year was much bigger, but because that included some of the projects. So the second year was $258,000. The lithium project alone was $125,000. And then we spent about 8 weeks in a boatyard at 2 different occasions, and we spent more time at a marina because during the winter we weren't out at anchor as much. So the lesson learned there is stay away from boatyards and marinas, and you're going to be in good shape.
And boat dealers.
Yeah.
One of the questions I have personally, and probably a lot of folks out there watching this are not Nordhavn owners yet, they're looking in from the outside, but most of us live our life with a home base of a bank, doctors, and so forth. And you're on the run now, and so you've got to. I could imagine managing money. You can do it online and ATMs and so forth. But doctors, I mean, you got to have appointments, and it's so hard to get a doctor these days. You got insurance, you got blood work, how do you handle all of that?
Well, it's definitely a challenge. Most doctors don't want to take a new patient, and quite honestly, we don't know our schedule far enough in advance to get a new patient appointment. So that's been a little bit of a challenge, but we find that, we've got a great medical kit. We have access to telehealth, which after COVID became much more prevalent. And we've got great dental insurance. We've actually been able to find dentists where we can go and get our teeth cleaned every 6 months while we've been up here. So that's been great. Yep. Sure. And then we typically have one trip a year, usually around Thanksgiving, to go visit family. And we just established healthcare professionals there and kind of explained our situation. And so it's been fun to trade stories. And they get excited for us to come in because they're like, hey, it's your checkup. Where have you guys been? What are you doing? So that's been good. We also had to do that with our dog. We travel with a boat dog who we love, and working with
pooch as before.
Same dog
as
before, and just working with a veterinarian to make sure that up to date on his rabies and the different vaccinations that you need as you go from country to country. Right. So that's been something we continue to learn about and research.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a healthy boat. We got healthy people. We got smiles. We got excitement. And we've got a future here, which, tell us about it.
Well, let's see, year 3. So we are going to circumnavigate Vancouver Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to circumnavigate. But first, year 3 is Vancouver Island. And we're going to do that on the west side with a buddy boat, a Nordhavn 40.
Kind of slowly or thoroughly?
Yeah. Take our time. Yeah. Spend 4 to 6 weeks on that western coast. Yeah. And really just enjoy the Pacific Northwest area. Yeah. And then in September, we're headed south. We're ready for some warm cruising weather. Right. And we plan to spend the winter in the Sea of Cortez. Yeah. And really start some final prep before we continue into Central and South America, and then eventually turn right and cross the Pacific.
Yeah, so from if you get down as far as Panama, then it's just Sensible, Galapagos, and then Marquesas.
Yep.
Yeah, the typical.
Yep.
The funny thing is, we thought we'd need about 10 years to go around the world. We've done 2 years, and we've made it from Mexico to Alaska. I think we're going to need at least 15. But we're okay with that.
Well, I think we're, as before, we could probably talk another hour, and I imagine people would watch it for another hour too, but we've got a party to go to.
Right.
And, but before we finish, how can people follow you? I know you're going to have even more followers and admirers now. I mean, you're living the dream that others want to live. Do you have a blog, or how do you present yourself to the public?
Well, we don't have a blog, but we do have an Instagram account, MV for Motor Vessel Good Hook, all one word. And we post and share our journey for family and friends. It's open, so we welcome everybody to follow along, and then share advice and information and make comments about where we're at or where we should go. So that's been a great way to stay connected and keep people informed about our journey.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I suggest you follow them. It's very inspirational. It inspires me, and I'm a professional in the business, so I was really looking forward to this interview. I'm sure more are to come as the Good Hook does good things.
Yeah.
So,
thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. It's always nice to sit down with you.
That brings this video to a close. Enjoy. Thank you.